Hello everyone, I am Jamar Di Barria, the first presenter, and we are going to discuss the process evaluation of MTB MLE implementation. So the process evaluation of the implementation of an MTB MLE multi-rate Bayesian maximum livelihood estimation model involves assessing how well the model was executed and the steps taken during the implementation. So we have here the process of evaluation of MTBM LE implementation. The first one is planning and preparation. The second one is model specification. The third one is data collection and preparation. The fourth one is implementation. The fifth one is testing and validation, and so on and so forth. So the general outline for an process evaluation is the first one is planning and preparation. So when we say planning and preparation, it review the initial project plan and objectives. So before you conduct an article or new article, you need to review the past para mai-compare mo yung study or yung article na gagawin mo. Evaluate the clarity and feasibility of implementation plan. So you need to evaluate at klaruhin kung ano yung gagawin mong article for planning and preparation. So you should assess also the availability of necessary data and resources. Kung ano yung gagamitin mong pag-a-assess gaya ng pen and paper para sa mga respondent mo. Okay?
So the second topic is model specification. Evaluate how the MTB-MLE model was chosen and justified. Assess whether the model assumptions were clearly defined. Examine any modifications made to the model and their rationale. So from the word evaluate, kailangan nating suriin ang model ng mother tongue kung nagbibigay ito ng katwiran. And we need also to evaluate this if the model were clearly defined or nagbibigay ito ng kalinawan. Suriin din natin kung ang MTB-MLE model kung may pagbabago rito. Third is data collection and preparation. Review the data collection process and data sources. Evaluate the quality and completeness of the data. Check for any data processing or transformation steps. So, kailangan nating pag-aralan ang data collection process and data process para matukoy or ma-check natin ang mga process or mga transformation about dito.
So, number 6, documentation. Evaluate the completeness and clarify of model documentation. Check for the availability of code comments and explanation. Assess the ability of user guide or manuals. So, documentation, written information that describes and explain a product, system, or service. It can take many different forms such as user manuals, technical guides, and online help resources. Documentation does not only make everything organized, it directly affects productivity and efficiently keeps a track of progress, identifies areas of risk, and overall ensure that everyone is on the same page.
I am Rexen Garcia and I am going to continue the report. So, my report is testing and validation. So, what is testing and validation? It assesses how model's performance was tested, review the cross-validation or out-sample testing result, examine any sensitivity analysis conducted. So, what is this? This sentence is instructing the reader to evaluate how the performance of a model was tested. It suggests two specific methods for testing models' performance, and it is the cross-validation and out-of-sample testing. So, what is a cross-validation? It is a technique used to assess how well a model generalizes a new data. It involves splitting the available data into multiple subjects, training the model on some subsets, and then evaluating its performance on the remaining subset. And next is the out of sample testing. It is similar to cross-validation but involves completely separating a portion of data from the training process.
Now, I will discuss what is documentation. So, documentation means to evaluate the completeness and clarity of model documentation. We need to check for the availability of code comments and explanation. We need to assess the availability of users, especially the user guides or manuals. And the next one is number 7, which is the communication and reporting. When we say communication and reporting, we need to evaluate how the results were communicated to stakeholders. We need to assess the clarity and accessibility of reports or presentations. Check the results if it is effectively communicated to non-technical audiences.
Number 8 in general outline for a process evaluation is the feedback and improvements. Gather feedback from team members and stakeholders. You need to assess it whether any identified issues or challenges were addressed. You need to consider the recommendation for the future improvements of the evaluation. Next is management. Evaluate whether the implementation stayed on schedule. We need to assess the allocation of resources, including personnel and computing power. Examine any budgetary consideration for compliance with ethical.
Number 10. Regulatory standards. Ensure that the implementation stayed on schedule. Assess the allocation of resources, including personnel and computing. To ensure that the implementation of mother tongue-based multilingual education stays on schedule, regulatory standards can be used to provide a clear framework for how the project should be executed. These can include timelines, milestone, and resource allocation. Regulatory standards can help ensure that the implementation of mother tongue-based multilingual education is compliant with relevant laws and regulations, such as those related to language instruction and teacher certification. Regulatory standards can help ensure that the implementation of mother tongue-based multilingual education stays on the schedule and that resources are being used effectively and efficiently to support language learning.
So, I'm April de Guzman Januaria and I will continue the report. Number 11, which under the general outline for a process evaluation, which is the impact assessment. Impact assessment assess the real-world impact of the MTBMLE model implementation. Consider whether it achieved its intended objectives and benefits. An impact assessment, this can be done through a structured process analysis, documentation, and etc. An impact assessment of the MTBML comprehensive and understanding of the MTBMLE models, allowing stakeholders to make informed decisions about its future. Next is the lesson learned. Lesson learned is a document key lesson during the implementation, identify next practice and areas for improvement in the future projects. Lesson learned in the context of MTBMLE refers to the insights and experience gained during the implementation of. It is important to document this lesson to improve future MTBMLE initiatives.
Process evaluation helps ensure that the MTBMLE model implementation is carried out effectively and efficiently, leading to accurate results and informed decision-making. It also provides valuable insight for future similar projects. So, nung pinatupad ang MTBMLE implementation is naging effective na gamiting lengguwahe sa pagtuturo. The process evaluation provides valuable insights for the future similar projects by documenting and analyzing the process used in the MTBMLE implementation. The organizations can be create a knowledge base that can be used to inform future projects, ensuring that they are carried out more effectively and efficiently.
So it says here that in Philippine Senate Resolution number 610, Gatchalian seeks to determine the effectiveness of integrating the MTB-MLE in the Philippine Basic Education System as a medium of instruction since the start of its implementation in 2012. It also says here that the given challenges such as the lack of textbooks written in the mother tongue and the lack of teacher training on using the mother tongue as a language of instruction, Gatchalian said it is difficult to achieve academic development. So in simple terms, the primary issues that we are facing to implement the MTB MLE is the lack of books or textbooks which is written in our mother tongue. So mahihirapan talaga tayong i-implement ang MTB MLE kung yung mga textbooks pa lang na meron tayo ngayon is already written in English which is does not support the MTB MLE. And another challenges na kinakaharap natin is yung mga teacher na hindi well trained sa pagtuturo ng mother tongue. For example, yung isa kong teacher na napunta sa isang lugar kunyari sa Ilocano ka, tapos ikaw yung teacher na hindi marunong mag-Ilocano, paano mo ituturo yung mother tongue na yun kung hindi mo naman alam? And so, dapat well trained yung mga teacher na magtuturo sa isang mother tongue na language. And to conclude, to implement the MTB-MLE, to implement the MTB-MLE successfully, dapat meron tayong sapat na textbooks to support the MTB-MLE and well-trained teachers. That's all.
Reporter. So, I will discuss about children learn and better faster in a language that they can understand. This in effect boosts their self-esteem, making them enjoy school more, said by Win Gatchalian. So, dito sa pagkaasabi ni Win Gatchalian, mas natututo ang mga bata at mabilis na naiintindihan ng lesson if alam nila yung lengguwahe na ginagamit. Dito nabuboost yung self-esteem nila, nakikipag-participate sila sa mga school activities, ginagawa nila yung gusto nilang gawin like maglaro, basta ini-enjoy nila yung pagiging estudyante nila habang
Hi everyone, my name is Ana de la Calata and I'm going to discuss about the implementation of K-12. In the implementation of K-12 program, instruction, teaching materials, and assessment shall be in the regional or native language of learners from kindergarten and the first 3 years of elementary education. By implementing K-12 program, the student more prepared in joining the workforce, and this program develop functional basis education system that produce productive and responsible individuals in elementary education. From grade 4 to grade 6, Filipino and English shall be gradually introduced as languages of instruction through a language bridge program. At the secondary level, these two languages will become the primary languages of instruction. At the secondary level, these two languages will be the one most frequently utilized for instruction in order for the student in grade 4 to 6 to communicate with their teachers and other people abroad more effectively. It is mandated that both English and Filipino be used in class, connecting people from different countries and culture.